What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Last we left off, we finally broke the Cyclops on Athena, and everyone lived happily ever after, right? Wrong. We still have to figure out who that third culprit is, now that we've confirmed that we do have a third person involved in this case. And, yeah, gonna have to figure that out in this video, hopefully. Yes, let's go! You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's alright, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day.
I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then...
It's alright. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena.
She was on the floor, by the workbench, with the katana sticking out of her. There was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there!
A man?!
Hold it!
A man? Excuse me. Wow, what was that? Quiet, Your Honor! Go on, Athena.
He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there and... He dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again.
And this time you got him, didn't you?
I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me, and I passed out. When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her. I thought... So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table. Something's wrong with Mom, so I'm taking her apart to fix her.
Quietly takes my stylus. So that's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us critical new testimony. A man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. A man who covered the victim's face and put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit. Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything else about that?
Yes, the mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab.
Ah, this mask hanging here on the wall.
It was kind of spooky, that mask. My mom used to tell me that a gnome mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom.
A phantom? It would seem that a new suspect has emerged. And that means that all suspicion against Miss Sykes has... Hold it! You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Sykes is a murderer. I won't accept any other verdict. Miss Blackwell, this is not good. A new suspect? Where's the proof this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in this little princess's groggy little head? Ugh, she's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence.
Objection! Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now, because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother.
Athena, I'm so glad for you.
More and more memories are coming back now. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Ponko came to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. to recharge. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything.
The plot thickens. I see where you're going with this. If Mommy Menace was really the killer in disguise.
Right. Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m.
Do I have anything here in the evidence that can help me find this person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.? Of course you do! Check out this video!
Take that!
This is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene after the incident at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by there before then? I don't see anything here in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check. Wow, they are terrible at the investigating. Just as I thought. So if we rewind the footage and go back to around 2 p.m., we should be able to see the true culprit leaving the scene. Very well then, let's take a look. Why didn't you take a look in the first place when you did this investigation? Jeez. There! Please stop it right there! Hello! It's just like you said! There is a man leaving the scene of the crime! Miss Sykes, do you remember this person?
That's him! I'm sure of it! He's wearing my mother's jacket! I did, but what I really wanted to see was her jacket.
That jacket on display, that was Dr. Sykes?
Can you see it? There's the slash I made with the utility knife that day. And I'm sure that knife is under that jacket somewhere.
So then, everything Miss Sykes said. Exactly, it proves that Miss Sykes' memory was correct. Dr. Sykes' killer arrived at the robotics lab before 2 p.m. He killed her and hid her face with a handkerchief. Then he disguised himself with Dr. Sykes' jacket and mask that were there in the lab. The culprit probably knew beforehand that Ponko charged up at 2 p.m. every day.
So he waited for Ponko to come to the lab for her regular recharge.
By leaving Dr. Sykes' jacket on, the culprit tricked Ponko into thinking he was Dr. Sykes, thereby making it look like she was alive up to that point in time. All to disguise the real time of death.
Objection!
Really, Edgeworth, do you really have something to object to that? It's a nice theory, Mr. Wright, but I'm afraid that it's just not possible. What? Why not? The victim's jacket is clearly visible right there in this video. And that right there is precisely the problem. The ID tag on the jacket at the scene confirms beyond a doubt that it belonged to the victim. If the person who left the lab truly was wearing the victim's jacket, then how could it possibly have wound up back at the crime scene? Oh, what's going on? That doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. Edgeworth's right. If the culprit was wearing the jacket, how did it get back to the lab? Well, obviously the killer brought it back. The killer used the jacket as a disguise to make his escape. But in order to conceal that fact, he had to get the jacket back to the crime scene. So the culprit simply returned to the robotics lab later and planted it there. Contradiction resolved.
Objection!
Edgeworth's like, no, that's too easy! Except it would have been impossible. The only people who've come to the robotics lab after the killer were Prosecutor Blackwell and the people who reported the body. And they claimed that the jacket was there when they arrived. Maybe one of them was actually the Phantom. So, when do you propose this mysterious man of yours had the chance to return the jacket? A puzzling question indeed. When did the culprit have the chance to bring the jacket back? When the body was found. The only time the culprit could have returned the jacket was when the body was found. Mr. Wright, do you realize the implication of that argument? I do. Most people, when they come across a murder, focus their attention on the body. The culprit could have taken advantage of that split second to plant the jacket. In other words, the true culprit of this case, the man known as the Phantom, was one of the first people to discover the body! I would never have thought of that! Take that! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this, Prosecutor Edgeworth? The body was discovered and reported by a group of 3 people. They were there to collect the Space Probe's capsule in preparation for the HAT-1 launch. Excuse me. One of these people had a special bag to transport the capsule in. Oh, you mean the shock-resistant bag? Correct. I suppose that if the jacket was in that bag, it could have been returned to the scene of the crime without anyone noticing. Yet, I'll see to it that you get the reports on those 3 people. You will? We should also check the facial recognition database for that robot. If this person felt the need to hide his face with a theater mask, it might mean that his facial data was once registered. But Prosecutor Edgeworth, does this mean... I have to admit, I believe Miss Sykes' memories to be credible. You win, right? Not that this was ever an official trial anyway. Do my ears deceive me? Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you actually conceding? What a shocker, him conceding.
Is it true, boss? Does this mean I'm...
I can't believe it. It's over. I won! I proved that both Athena and Prosecutor Blackwell are innocent. Your Honor, I see no need to further prolong this trial.
Objection!
Hold on, Mr. Wright. Have you forgotten who's in charge of this trial? That's right. I'm the one who's supposed to say I see no need to further prolong. Not quite, Judge. Not you either, Your Honor. Now, silence. The little princess who is truly beloved by Metis, and who repaid that love with death. All these years, hating Athena was the only thing that's kept me going. But what do I do now? Can anybody tell me? How am I supposed to go on? Miss Blackwell. How unlike you, Aura. Metis was deeply passionate about her work, and she chose you as her partner. Isn't that— Shut up, Simon! You know exactly how I felt about her! Her respect as a co-worker wasn't all that I wanted. Oh! Well then! Then what did you want from her? Did you really just go there, Your Honor? Yes, because it's the judge! He's just kind of oblivious with these kind of things. Aura, there is something I've wanted to say to you, if you will lend me an ear. I have in my possession a lead on who Metis' murderer, excuse me. You do? Right, Dono. You asked me about the identity of the Phantom of 7 years past. That's right. Phantom. The person Blackwell has been looking for, even from behind bars. 7 years ago, somebody hatched a plan to sabotage the HAT-1 launch, a rocket. The spy. But he was no ordinary spy. We knew naught about him, his background, appearance. We came to refer to him as the Phantom. Ooh, spooky! At the time, I was working with the police to hunt him down, and then one day, a miracle occurred, and I obtained a lead on him. Oh, how exciting! What was the lead? Judge, please! Like on the CSI or something. A recording of the Phantom's voice, but the quality was too poor for proper voice analysis. Yet I had hoped Aura's co-worker was a scientist who could analyze human emotions. So I asked her to evaluate the recording using analytical psychology. And that scientist was Dr. Sykes! Yes, the spy's greatest fear is to have his true identity discovered. In addition to HAT-1, Dr. Sykes' results and the recording were surely among his targets. But his search of the space had borne no fruit, so he must have started to panic. He couldn't find them, but where would they have been? Who is to say? Wow, I bet he's never let that out of his sight all these years. How in the world did you smuggle them into prison? Oh, I have my ways. What's more, my partner is especially talented at that sort of thing. Taka! I worked to lure the Phantom in by spreading rumors throughout the underworld. I was even granted permission to prosecute cases to attract the Phantom's attention. Just try to receive your identity, you bloody butcher. Became my taunt. Excuse me. And what about the results Dr. Sykes drew up for you? Was there any useful information? Here, you can see for yourself. But take good care of it. It's all I have left of my mentor. I will. I better hold on to this real tight. boy. The subject's emotions rarely fluctuate, and he doesn't experience feelings like normal people do. There's our hint. Whew. Psychological profile classified. Emotion output of this voice extremely weak compared to typical voices. Subject deemed to have unique psychological makeup with almost no emotional fluctuation. No emotional fluctuation? Huh? A spy who experiences no emotion, not sadness nor anger, and naturally no fear. He is the very definition of a phantom, a monster with no heart. Don't you see? This creature is the rot that destroyed our lives and set what ails us all into motion. The Phantom indeed, a fitting name for the one who has brought us darkness to our world. Well then, it seems a faint image of this man has started to take shape. Based on what we have learned, I'd like all of you to conduct further investigation. This is not a formal trial, but I do want to follow protocol. If I may, I'd like to hand down my verdict and bring these proceedings to an end. Whatever. Do what you want. You'll hear no objections from me. Yes, please, Your Honor. It's over. It's finally over. Very well. In that case, Prosecutor Blackwell, could you please take this stand? Well, he's already there. As a result of this trial, your innocence has been proven. The verdict handed down 7 years ago is hereby overturned. And now, the defendant of the current trial, Miss Athena Sykes. Yes, yeah. Excuse me! I said Athena instead of Athena. Oopsies.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, thank you. Thank you for everything.
Athena, you're more than welcome. If everyone is ready, I will now give my verdict. Objection! Did I guess right who it is? You! Apollo! No! Why? Oh no. Apollo! What is the meaning of this? Congratulations, Mr. Wright and Prosecutor Edgeworth. You uncovered the truth from 7 years ago and you saved Prosecutor Blackwell. However, I can't allow this trial to end just yet. Apollo? Why, Apollo? Why would you do this to us? Well, okay then, I guess we'll be finding out the Phantom later, because Apollo still has a say on poor Clay's murder, I'm assuming. Yes, we're gonna continue this, by the way, because 17 minutes only. Let's go! Poor Apollo, though. He just doesn't have it easy in this game. I mean, yeah, he's got more character development, but just shit hits the fan with him in this game. Okay. Mr. Justice, please explain yourself. It's very simple. There isn't much to explain. The defendant, Miss Athena Sykes, might not be innocent. What are you talking about? The case from 7 years ago has been settled. That's not what he's referring to. I'm not talking about the past here. I'm talking about the present case. It's still not clear who killed Clay Tarrant.
But Apollo, why would you...
Miss Sykes, please listen quietly to what I have to say. What in the world is Apollo trying to do? Your Honor, please allow me to a little of the court's time. But this is a trial for the case from 7 years ago. Miss Blackwell, I'd like to ask a favor of you. Just as you lost someone close to you, I lost someone close to me too. Don't ask favors from Or! I mean, look what she did to Trucy for inconsistencies in this game! Anyway, I'm sure you want to know the real truth of what happened as much as I do. Apollo. Sure, you know I'm all for the truth. Now let's see you expose the princess's guilt. Judge, I give my permission. Continue with the trial. Very well. Is that all right with you, Prosecutor Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections. Let's hear Mr. Justice's testimony. I'll have the police investigation report brought immediately. Not you too, Edgeworth. I really hope it's because you have something up your sleeve. Very well. Your opening statement, please, Prosecutor Edgeworth. As you wish. Let's review the case of the murder of Mr. Clay Tarrant. It was made clear in the previous trial that Solomon Starbuck was not his killer. Therefore, the true culprit was someone else. On that day, this culprit waited for the astronauts in boarding lounge 1, when the two men made their escape out of the Space Museum. Oh, why would you show this picture? The killer attacked Mr. Tarrant with the same type of knife that was used 7 years ago. So clearly it's the person from 7 years ago! The murderer then escaped into the Space Museum. Next, Director Yuri Cosmos switched the launch pads. After that, the culprit exited the Space Museum and escaped via boarding lounge 2. Therefore, this trial must make clear who Mr. Tarrant's true killer was, in other words. We must discover who it was that escaped through the Space Museum that day. Thank you, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Mr. Wright, is the defense ready? Yes, Your Honor. I better rearrange my evidence. Relevant evidence swapped into the court record. Excellent. Now then, Mr. Justice, your testimony, if you please. Swapping things around. Let's go. Why is this in here? I'm not sure why Phony Phantom is in there again. Anyway. Let's do this! Apollo, please! I suspected Miss Sykes of the murder of Clay Tarrant. My growing suspicions were confirmed when this incriminating evidence presented itself. In addition, she's the only one who could have utilized the launchpad switch to escape. That is why I wish to indict Miss Sykes on the charge of murder. Oh my god, Apollo, why? Oh, Phoebe! Order! Order in the court! Mr. Justice, you realize you are charging your own co-worker for murder, don't you? Yes, Your Honor, because that is the conclusion my investigation has led me to.
But, Apollo, why? How could you suspect me too?
Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. I don't get it. Just what did you find out over the past few days to make you think this? I'll give you an answer. Plot! Alright, we are pressing on every single statement. Let's go.
Hold it!
What first made you suspicious of Miss Sykes? It all started when Miss Sykes and I were investigating the crime scene. When she saw the weapon that killed Mr. Tarrant, my bracelet reacted. She said she'd never seen the knife before, but my bracelet told me otherwise. Apollo, were you here at all for the other case? The reason why she recognized it is because she used it 7 years ago. Ugh. And then every time after that, my bracelet would react when she talked about the case. Poor Apollo must have been beside himself during that investigation. I didn't know what to do or think. I couldn't even sleep. In that condition, I knew I wouldn't be any good in court. So I decided to wear my eye patch so I wouldn't be able to perceive any of her tells. So that's why Apollo was acting so strangely. Nope, he didn't lose an eye or anything. But the reason Miss Sykes unconsciously reacted to the knife that way is because she stabbed her mother's murderer with one identical to it 7 years ago.
Objection!
But that knife was also the murder weapon that was used to kill Clay Tarrant. My bracelet would have also reacted to her because she knew she was his killer too. Oh, I guess he has a point. But my bracelet wasn't the only reason I became suspicious of her.
Hold it!
That's the lighter that was found in the Space Museum with her fingerprints on it, right? But even if it seems decisive, there must be other facts we don't know about yet. If that's so, go ahead and prove it then. Look, honestly, I don't want to believe it's true either, but But Miss Sykes was the only one who was in the Space Museum at the time of the murder. But Mr. Justice, Miss Sykes had absolutely no motive to kill Mr. Tarrant.
Objection!
7 years ago, Miss Sykes lived at the Cosmos Space Center. It wouldn't be strange if he had some kind of connection to him. Besides, people sometimes kill for motives we can't even imagine. I know you've seen plenty of cases like that in your own career, Mr. Wright. I still can't believe this. How can you actually suspect Athena, Apollo? Plot!
Hold it!
Isn't it possible that somebody else used that same escape route? I'm afraid not, Mr. Wright. Why not? Recall there is a security camera in boarding lounge 1 aimed at the launch pad door. It's the camera that captured Mr. Tarrant and Mr. Starbuck, but there's also another security camera in boarding lounge 2. It recorded Mr. Tarrant's killer, or rather, Miss Sykes coming out from the Space Museum. A camera in boarding lounge 2? First I've heard of it, but it makes sense. Athena said she had snuck into the Space Museum the night before the incident, and then was overcome and passed out until around noon the next day. I feel like she's been drugged.
I was out until about noon of the next day. I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into boarding lounge 2.
That must have been when the camera captured her. And that's what made Apollo suspect her even more. But wait a minute. In that case, it's most likely recorded the true culprit as well.
Objection!
That's a negative on that one too, Mr. Wright. In the footage taken after the incident, Miss Sykes is the only one who appears. What? Why? Why indeed? Shit! Order! Order in the court! That can't be. But if it is, then it is incredibly incriminating. Wasn't it you who proved in the previous trial that the way the true culprit escaped was via the Space Museum after the pads had been switched? A fact you've previously proved turned on its ear, leaving your client high and dry. I must say, that is vintage Phoenix Wright. Alright, pressing the last statement. Believing in your client to the end is a basic principle of good defense. Shouldn't you extend that same principle to your own coworker? You're probably right. Maybe I'm not even fit to be a lawyer. However, I don't care. This case is special to me. Oh, Apollo. Clay was my friend. And that's why I just have to know the truth. Apollo suspected his trusted coworker of killing his friend. To dispel his doubts, he investigated on his own, but that only led to more doubts. Apollo must have been really struggling with this. Well, Apollo may have doubts, but... I'll say it again! Athena Sykes isn't the murderer. Then I have only one thing to say. Evidence is everything in court. Way to channel Kristoff there. Well, Mr. Wright, I think you have the concrete proof to knock down... What is reading? Think you have the concrete proof to knock down my arguments? Your arguments have been very clear, Mr. Justice, and your facts appear to be indisputable. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think of my theory? It looks like not even you can deny it. Miss Sykes was the only one who used the only possible escape route. Under these circumstances, there can be no other suspect but the defendant. Unless... You think there was an alternative escape route? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Mr. Wright? Is that what you think, Phoenix? Was there an alternative escape route? Of course there is! I'll just have to find it! Yes, of course there must have been. Just don't ask me what. You're just bluffing again, aren't you? Me? Bluff? No way! He knows me too well. Yeah! He's your boss! It's fine, Mr. Wright. Even a bluff would suit me just fine. As long as you can. As long as you can clear up this doubt inside me. Wait, so is that what this is all about? I want to believe in Athena. I really do. But what is fate without doubt? That's why I need to question her guilt. So that once the truth finally comes out, I can really fully trust her.
So that you can really trust me?
It seems your junior partner has just showed us what trials are truly all about. I believe you're right. We prosecutors painstakingly question every detail in pursuit of the defendant, while we lawyers believe in and defend our clients to the end. When both sides go all out against each other, that's when we discover the truth. Precisely. And when the battle is over, we will understand the true meaning of trust. That was so cheesy but epic at the same time. That is exactly what trials are about, wouldn't you agree? Yes, I couldn't ignore the seed of doubt that was growing inside me, so I decided I need to face it head on. No matter what the truth is waiting ahead, I won't be afraid. That's so like Apollo, always uber earnest about things like this. Shonen! Mr. Justice, I vow to dispel every last bit of doubt in your heart. Good, because I want to believe in Miss Sykes again. You're really hoping there was an alternative route, aren't you, Apollo? But if I use the process of elimination, there really aren't that many possibilities. Director Cosmos was at the southern exit, leaving only the control room and the corridor to the Space Museum. Which door could the culprit have escaped, though? Could have escaped through? Come on, Mr. Wright! Where do you think the culprit escaped to? I'm pretty sure it's the Space Museum corridor, yes? This took me a while to figure out because I was like, I don't know!
Take that!
It took me a while. They really could have, they really only could have escaped to the corridor to the Space Museum. Oh shit! I am over the minutes now! Whack! Oh my god, I'm so into this. Sorry, freaking Apollo is awesome, okay? Yeah, I gotta stop this now, and we shall figure out where the culprit went, the alternative route, in the next video. So I'll see you guys then.
With the katana sticking out of her, there was a handkerchief over her face, but I knew it was her by her clothes. And there was a man there.
A man?
Hold it!
A man? Excuse me. Wow, what was that? Quiet, Your Honor. Go on, Athena.
He tried to attack me. In a panic, I grabbed the knife that was there and... He dodged at first, so I only got his clothes. But I tried again.
And this time you got him, didn't you?
I did. I remember it clearly now. The knife went into the back of his hand. Then he kicked me, and I passed out. When I came to, my mom wasn't moving. I had to do something. I had to fix her. I thought... So I asked Ponko to move her to the operating table. So I'd like to say one thing if I could. Ponko came to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. to recharge. I went to the robotics lab at about 2 p.m. for my regular recharge. Just as I was about to charge up, Athena came in and hugged Mommy Metis. And then Mommy Metis fell down. After that, I was recharging, so I don't know anything.
The plot thickens. I see where you're going with this. If Mommy Metis was really the killer in disguise.
Right. Then he must have come to the robotics lab before 2 p.m.
Do I have anything here in the evidence that can help me find this person who came to the lab before 2 p.m.? Of course you do. Check out this video.
Take that!
This is Prosecutor Blackwell leaving the scene after the incident at around 3 p.m. What I'm wondering is, does the video show anyone else passing by there before then? I don't see anything here in the investigation report. It looks like they didn't check. Wow, they are terrible!
Something's wrong with Mom. So I'm taking her apart to fix her.
Quietly takes my stylus. So that's why she said that. Your Honor, as you can see, the defendant has just given us critical new testimony. A man was there before Miss Sykes arrived. A man who covered the victim's face and put on the victim's jacket. This man is the real culprit. Miss Sykes, do you have any idea who this man was?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
A few moments ago, Miss Sykes mentioned a mask. Athena, can you tell us anything else about that?
Yes, the mask. It was my mom's Japanese theater mask. I think it was the one hanging on the wall of the lab.
Ah, this mask hanging here on the wall.
It was kind of spooky, that mask. My mom used to tell me that a gnome mask even has the power to turn an ordinary human being into a phantom.
A phantom? It would seem that a new suspect has emerged. And that means that all suspicion against Miss Sykes has... Hold it! You see, this is precisely why I can't trust the court system. Athena Sykes is a murderer. I won't accept any other verdict. Miss Blackwell, this is not good. A new suspect? Where's the proof this person ever existed? Who says it wasn't all just a dream in this little princess's groggy little head? Ugh, she's right. We don't have any hard evidence of the masked man's existence.
Objection! Thank you, Mr. Wright. I'll never be able to repay you for all you've done. But I'm fine now, because I can say with certainty that I didn't kill my mother.
Athena, I'm so glad for you.
More and more memories are coming back now.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Last we left off, we finally broke the Cyclops on Athena, and everyone lived happily ever after, right? Wrong. We still have to figure out who that third culprit is, now that we've, now that we've confirmed that we do have a third person involved in this case. And, yeah, gonna have to figure that out in this video, hopefully. Yes, let's go! You didn't really stab your mother, did you? It's alright, Athena. Just tell us what you saw that day.
I was drawing a picture. When I was done, I went to show it to my mom. I opened the door, and then...
It's alright. I'm right here. You're safe, Athena.
She was on the floor, by the workbench.